let's look at their homeware and jewellery businesses. And these are relatively deep in both companies.
But in fact, more noticeable in the Foschini case, because Foschini, for some reason, over the decades, has taken on and incorporated bits and pieces. So they own in the jewellery area American, Swiss, and Stearns. I can't remember. The one they bought from some family, the other one they started themselves. It's only about 15 or something % of the total Foschini group, but it's a solid margin operation. And they have that
Truworths only have those in-store jewellery operations.
Exactly.
Is that right?
There's a Truworths jewellery thing, and I'm not too sure what exactly that involves.
Daniel, do you have more clarity on the jewellery offerings?
So Foschini's offering is about 10 to 15%, like Paul said. Truworths don't split it out exactly, but I'm sure it's much less than Foschini's. When you're talking about jewellery and homeware, you're really talking about the Foschini's group. Like I said, Truworths is much more focused on the general apparel side.
At Home is the brand that Foschini has in the homeware store.
I didn't actually really know that.
So that's theirs too. And again, you see, you can get an at-home card, which is really running on the same card loyalty infrastructure.
So that puts them a country mile ahead of Truworths in this space.
Yeah, but again, there may be margin-related issues. So, like I said earlier, the best margins of any business is one where you sell a customer what is perceived to be a high-value, high-margin item, but it really cost you nothing when it was all in the design and the sourcing and the Chinese connections and so on.
Margins in the homeware and jewellery division, are they under pressure?
They actually generally quite good margins. At Home has done a superb job. Jewellery also good margins, but much lower stock turn, and that's quite important for a retailer, so that once you get your stock in, you move it very quickly. Now, Truworths is excellent at that. They've got sector-leading stock turns. Foschini in their clothing space has got quite good stock turns, but in jewellery, obviously, you get your necklaces, etc. in, it moves much slower. So you sell it for nice prices, you get much margin, but it's moving much slower, and therefore you have more money tied up in working capital as your inventory is sitting in your shop and not selling as quickly. So that's just something to be aware of as well.
Do you see Truworths going after the homeware space at any time in the future?
No, I don't think so. I haven't heard anything to that effect. I think there's plenty of competition in that homeware space, though, obviously
there's
from
Mr.
Price, Woolworths is there, and then all of the other people, the sort of Games and Macros of the world, have a little bit of a foray in there. Very price competitive and very, again, fashion dependent, and you've got to be very careful with your buying.
So the clear winner here is Foschini in that they have the offerings, and Truworths is relatively thin on the ground.
In terms of spread of offerings, yes, but I'd say Truworths didn't become the best apparel retailer for no reason. I think a lot of it was due to their focus in the space and not actually looking at too many other things.
That's a difficult answer, but you still, in this space, the homeware and the jewellery division, we've got to give it to Foschini. They're the only ones that have got it.
Right.
No, I mean, you've got to argue with me. Truworths has got their in-store offering, but it's not as big as the Stearns and the...
What I wanted to put on the table as well to resolve the impasse that's happening
obviously,
here.
because we don't know where to go from here.
There are a few other things that are worth mentioning. There's cell phone sales that I think Foschini's fairly big in. I don't know if Truworths is in that business
Daniel
as well.
mentioned that up front.
And then there are one or two other things that are in the group, like cosmetics. I mean, isn't cosmetics, I think, is a fairly...
Truworths has got a big cosmetics offering.
But once again, Foschini's quite focused in that space. They've got a massive cosmetics offering. Look, in terms of breadth of offering, you've got to give it to Foschini.